to my workshop and welcome to this Yuyong QueenAnt Pro version 2 Super Enhance. And today we're going to be building up the Z-axis and installing it. But the first thing we need to do is just check that this face of the X-axis gantry mount for the Z is absolutely square to the chassis. And you can simply do that by getting a fairly accurate square and placing it on the chassis members, which we know are absolutely flat and level, and placing it against the plate here, and it should be exactly square, which it is. And I may add too, at this point, go around the entire machine and make sure everything is nipped up nice and tight. All your ball nut fixings and everything, the side plates, everything is up tight and firm. Something I omitted to put in the last video actually was fitting these little angled brackets on the top and the bottom. I actually fitted them on the bottom to be able to put the gantry in, but I didn't show myself doing that, so here we go. So to fit these brackets on, you require, if I can pick them up, 4 of these little 5mm slot in T-nuts. When I say slot in, you can put them in just like that, just lay them in. And when the screw goes in and turns them, they lock actually into the slot. Then you need 4 of the 5mm thread by 8mm long, little low profile screws, and you just simply put them in. Loose. Okay, so you need it loose to be able to move this around. Then there's low profile screws again. So these are 20mm long. You put them through like that. And on the back side, over here, there's 5mm lock nuts, nylock nuts they are. You just pop them on. So these are the last thing to go on and to be tightened up. Tighten all the other fixings for the gantry up first. Leave these till last. And I got a little quarter drive socket set. It's just as easy to do it with this. So let's start and build the Z-axis. Right, the first thing we're going to do is place the square linear rail bearings onto the rails. Now, 2 videos ago I did show you and explain how to put these rails on using the supplied gauge blocks that mount on each side to get these absolutely square. Now you can check this with a vernier to see that it's square. That is the correct way of putting these rails on. So these linear rail bearings come with a little plastic keeper. Now these ensure that the ball bearings stay in place. So to put them on, all you simply do is line it up with the end of the rail and simply pop it on and let that drop out. Easy as that. I do see in the comments section a couple of people are saying to me, oh, do I find it necessary to clean the bearings first? No. Quite frankly, I've never had a problem, and I've literally used hundreds of these brand new and I've never experienced a problem. Also, there was another person said about the grease nipples. I prefer to put my grease nipples on afterwards, if I use them at all, actually. Okay, so they're on. Just place them roughly, probably a little bit further apart, like that, and place these spacer blocks on to each of the bearing blocks and set this aside. So next thing we need to do is put the ball nut block on. So it's very simply done. You just slide it over like that, and there's 6 screws. In this case, these are 5mm and they are 14mm long. So put them all in, just get them all started first. And then do them up tight. Although this is an impact gun, it's an impact screwdriver, and the torque is set to, I think it's approximately 2.5 or 2 newtons, 2 newton meters, which ensures that you're not going to strip the screws. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to put the mounting plate onto a ball screw mounting block, and you need the 5mm by 14mm long cap head screws, and they, when you get it lined up, go into here. And again, just do them up and like undo it about 1/4 of a turn, just so that they're fairly slack, because you're going to need to line everything up. Okay, so that's done. So then now at this point it doesn't matter whether, which way around you have this. When I say that, to define top and bottom, well, top is obviously the threaded end of the ball screw here and extended. I like to put it midway like that, and we just drop it down. Just place it down in there like that and line the holes up. Okay, so then we need 4mm, and these are 32mm long. I'm trying to keep my head out the way of the camera as well here. Okay, that one started. That one has started. There again, put them in, but keep them fairly slack. Okay, so now it's time to put the bottom and the top plate on. Now the top plate is slightly larger than the bottom plate, plus it has the 4 fixing holes for the stepper motor. So that goes up the top, this comes down the bottom. Now you just slide it on like so and put your 14mm, rather 5mm by 14mm long, or is it 15? 15mm long actually. Now you need, see, 1, 2, 3, 6. The 2 center holes here don't actually do anything at all. I'm going to turn this just over on the edge here, but I'm sure you can see what I'm doing. I want to keep it on the flat surface though, because I want it all nice and square. And just do 2 up opposite each other like this. Then wind this down and make sure that it's not binding. Okay, now at that point you can do these up tight. So what you're doing is making sure that the ball screw is in line with the bearing. Okay. And I'm making sure that everything moves nicely there. Not worried about the top at the moment. I'm just going to put the circlip on here. Okay. That feels really, really smooth and nice actually. Now the reason I've done it this way is because I know that my rails are absolutely parallel and they're tight. Now I've done these 2 up tight here, and I've now done all these screws up here tight, and it still feels very smooth to operate. So now I'm going to do the rest of these up and check it again. that feels absolutely beautiful. So now we can put the other end on, which is the top end. So we'll wind this up. Now I'm winding this up to be able to align the top bearing and cover plate, or retaining top cover plate, like that, because there is slight movement of, you know, a few thousandths of an inch, maybe 10th or more. Okay, that one. So there is a very slight movement within the fixing screws to allow this to be positioned slightly off. Okay, so now I can put these screws in. Oh, that is, you should be able to turn that with 2 fingers, like absolutely like that. That is beautiful. These parts are probably the, you know, they're the best made kit parts that I've ever come across. I'll check it again. Oh, that is, as we would say in Australia, that is sweet. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put on the adjusting nut that goes on the end of the thread here. Now this preloads the bearings, or this top bearing actually, to remove any bearing movement out of the axis, so out of the ball screw. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, on these nuts there are 2 little grub screws. Okay, now you put the shiny face, the machined face there, towards the bearing. Put it on, and notice it's a square nut. So you screw it on with your fingers, like that. Now, you can get a shifter, but you're not going to do this up tight. What you're going to do is get a cloth, hold this with your 2 fingers and a thumb, okay, and just squeeze that up. And once it starts to turn, if you can't hold it, you know, that is the correct amount of preload. So now I'm going to do these lock screws up. 1, just firm. You don't have to go crazy with these. That's it. That's all you need. And then recheck to make sure you can still turn it. And there's absolutely no play there at all. And just bring it up midway, like that. Beautiful. And now we can place this onto our machine. Okay, so to affix the Z-axis on to the X-axis here, you need the heavy-duty 6mm thread and 20mm long button head screws. Okay, so here we go. This is quite a lump, but see if I can do this. I just hold it like that. Just put 1 in with my fingers. And 2. There's 4 that hold these on in the 4 corners, and 4. There's very little movement there, so I'm just going to do it up where it is. I'm going to do these up by hand as well, making sure they are tight. Okay, so we're just going to wind this all the way up to the top. Again, to make sure that it's free running, which we know it is. We're just checking it again. Make sure it just go all the way. There we go. It's quite a travel. I'm going to check see what it is actually. There's my tape measure. That is 6 inches. 150 millimeters, 6 inches of Z travel. That's pretty damn good. I forget what they say, what it is in the catalogue, but that's a bit the same as what I've got on the one I built and design. That's lovely. So that is how to assemble and fit the Z axes. I'm going to break I'm going to call this video to an end now, because otherwise it's going to go on and on and on too long. People just like to say, oh, how do I put the Z axis together and adjust it and fit it? Well, so they can go directly to this video. Next video we're going to put all the servo motors on, and also the spindle and things like the cable chain, brackets, and probably the axes sensors as well. And then we'll do the video after that. We'll do the wiring, run the wires for the whole machine, and start to build the electrical box. And then I'll do one again solely on building the electrical box, then all the electrical components and how to wire it up. Okay, so if you've liked this video, please like and subscribe, and you may consider becoming a patron to the channel if you are enjoying my videos, because I'm self-funded, and I purchase all my equipment myself, and the revenue from YouTube is sort of diminished considerably. I don't really know what's going on there. It's all happened since this Carper thing came in. But it's not what it used to be, I can tell you. So, thank you for joining me, and I hope you join me for the next video, and it's bye for now.